Hello, wonderful people. It is time for another Chris McPherson Show Daily Dose, and we are talking all things Wimbledon, of course, as we have done each of the preceding days heading into day 8. We will talk about Aussie Watch. We're going to talk some of the juniors, some good wins to kick things off yesterday in our juniors. Talia Kokkinis getting it done 4-4 against Yihan Ku, the Chinese player, and so will now head on into the round of 32. She will play tonight against Daniela Britton, who fittingly is a Brit. It's going to be an interesting one for Kokkinis as she moves on, 16 years old and getting through to the second round, which is great to see. She had a bit of a crack at the Oz Open as well, so a name to watch as we watch the juniors emerge. Good result there. The other one, obviously, the name that a lot of people will recognise very quickly, Cruz Hewitt. Lots of people talking about Cruz after his dominant performance in the first round yesterday on court 9 up against Russian Sava Rybkin. Hewitt looked almost like a carbon copy of his dad in the way that he moved around and threw himself around on the grass courts in a dominant 1-2 victory over Rybkin. He's now got a big challenge. He comes up against the Finn, Oskari Paldanius, who is the 11th seed currently. So that will be tomorrow at a time to be determined. So we'll touch on that a little bit more tomorrow. But again, 2 good wins there. Emerson Jones will be in action, though, tonight as well as Kokkinis. She will come up against Joanna Konstantinova, who is an emerging player. Not a seeded player, but nonetheless got through her first round with a 3-set victory. So Emerson Jones, she continues to emerge. It is her 17th birthday today as well, so hopefully she can celebrate that with a big win over Konstantinova, and we'll be cheering Emerson Jones, the number 1 seed, on into further into the tournament. She's also going to kick off her doubles campaign. That will be tomorrow night, though, alongside Belgian Jeline van Drom in the junior women's doubles. So we'll watch that with a bit of bated breath and whet the appetite. Jones just missing out on qualifying for the main draw previously with a loss to Diane Parry, who we saw go through to the third round. So certainly an impressive resume she's starting to build, as I said, turning 17 today. So a happy birthday and all the best of luck to Emerson Jones. While we are on Aussie Watch, let's kick off the senior draws conversations. And, of course, the last person, Aussie, standing in the senior draws is none other than Alex the Demon Demonor, and he's got a huge task in front of him. He comes up against Novak Djokovic, former world number 1, the leading Grand Slam winner of all time, historically for many, the GOAT of tennis. This is a huge one. We know that Novak certainly hasn't parked the bus at 25. He's looking for that 26 and would rate himself a fair chance here with some of the seeds that have dropped. Obviously, Alcaraz and Sinner still well and truly in action, but Demonor will be an obstacle for him. Demonor got through against young August Holmgren, the rising and emerging Dane, 27 years old. We talked about him a couple of days ago. He got past him in straight sets. He did what he needed to do. He's reasonably convincing in terms of that. Similarly, Novak Djokovic looked like he was in a training run up against Miomir Kekmanovic, his countryman, in the third round, and just absolutely blew him away. 3-4 on centre court. It's ominous for Alex de Minaur. He was supposed to have this one last time around, had to pull out, though. We know the story behind that from last time around. So it's a mammoth task in terms of what Alex has got in front of him. I'm just not sure how he shapes up here against Djokovic. It's going to be a huge and daunting task, the number 11 seed. As I said, it's a big job against Djokovic. Probably the only bigger jobs would have been Alcaraz and Sinner, and Novak's just going to be an absolute handful for him here. This one will get things underway on centre court this evening. And as much as my patriotic heart says that we need to find a way for Alex de Minaur, I just think everything sits against him. Novak is absolutely in form. He's probably been the most informed player alongside Jannik Sinner probably through the opening 3 rounds. It's been really impressive what Djokovic has turned up when you look through a little bit of a blip in that tiebreak against Muller in the first round. Blew Evans off the court, blew Kekmanovic off the court. Outside of that tiebreak, realistically, he has only dropped somewhere in the realm of 17 games across 3 matches. So, yes, there was the tiebreak set, but everyone has a blip on the way. Not many people can continue and perform at their top form all the way through. I think De Minaur's got enough to take one set off him, but I think that's going to be about it. So I'm going to have to, as much as it pains me to say, I'm going to have to go with Novak Djokovic to get this one done in 4 tonight to open the proceedings on centre court. There's a part of me as well that's concerned that he could actually just blow Alex De Minaur off the court. Alex is not at his best form. Last year, he probably was getting close to career best. He's a little bit below that at the moment, and he will know that. He'll admit that, and he'll be open about it. But maybe this is the match to play him into that form. Maybe he finds some sort of upset. I'd love to say I've got a narrative for it, but I don't. So I've got Novak Djokovic taking this one in 4. Let's move on to the next. And we've got the 10th seed, Ben Shelton, taking on the Italian Lorenzo Sonego. This is an interesting one. The Italians are doing very well. They've got 3 Italian men in action tonight and chances for them to push through to the quarterfinals. And they would all have arguments for why they could. Sonego beat Faria from Portugal in straight sets in the first round. He then took on the Georgian Basilashvili 4 sets, and then it's just gotten tougher for him there. He came up against a very challenging American in Brandon Nakashima, the 29th seed. 4 of the 5 sets going to tie breaks. Again, we talked about that the other day. It was the first time this match had gone to 4 or 5. This is the second time it's happened. Sonego fought through. Shelton, though, as we know, he's knocked out a couple of Aussies. He knocked out Alex Bolt in the first round, Ricky Hijikata in the second round. Took down Fuchsovics in the third round. Again, in straight sets, he hasn't dropped a set yet. He has been challenged. He's gone deep in each of them in a couple of the sets, but he's certainly looking ominous. He's starting to emerge. He seems like a real big moment Grand Slam style player. He seems to really pop his head up at the Grand Slams. Leading in, he wasn't at his best. He lost to Lerner in the round of 16 at Mallorca. He lost at Queens to Rindiknek in the round of 32. He did get through to the semi-finals in Halle, where he went down to Alexander Zverev after having beat Yuri Lehechka. So he's certainly got grass court pedigree, but hasn't really delivered it quite yet. This is an interesting one as it shapes up. Shelton holds a 3-1 lead on the head-to-head, including having beaten him at the previous 2 Grand Slams. So he knocked him out in the quarterfinals. Sonego at the Australian Open and in the first round at Roland Garros. So he's got the advantage. Can he make it the trifecta? It's not often you see players come together 3 times in succession at Grand Slams, unless they're the top couple of seeds, especially for Sonego, who's currently unseeded. He's sitting just inside the top 50. He'll be marching his way back towards the seedings with these results and be trying to hunt that down with a few results over the next little bit. And certainly if he wins this match, he's going to go close, you would think, to being seeded when we come around to the US Open. But, yeah, I just think looking back over those previous results, I don't know that Sonego's quite got Shelton's measure at this stage. He's going to have some work to do in terms of it. So, yeah, I'd love to find an argument here to say this is going to be a little bit closer, but I think it'll be a Shelton win in 4. So, Ben Shelton to take that one in 4 and progress through to the quarterfinals. Next up, the veteran, the 36-year-old Marin Cilic, former Grand Slam winner. We know he's taken out some names along the way. He took out Jack Draper, the biggest of names, one of the biggest seeds to fall alongside Alex Zverev. Took him out in 4. He blew the Belgian Klingnon off the court in straight sets and then took on Jean Bernard and was pretty strong in that as well, taking that one in 4 as well. He does come up against Flavio Cobolli, the Italian 22nd seed. He's been emerging. He's really starting to make a name for himself, Cobolli. He's still only 23 years of age. He's a youngster. He's part of this next gen of Italy that's, continuing to come through. Second generation. His old man was a tennis player as well. Stefano Cobolli, and we've just seen him starting to emerge. He hasn't made it past the 3rd round of a Grand Slam as of yet. He made it the 3rd round at Roland Garros, and it's certainly going to be an opportunity for him to continue to build on here. It's an interesting one. Again, some of his form leading in probably didn't exactly blow anyone away, but he's found it when the time's counted. So he gets through to the 4th round, his best run at a Grand Slam so far. I think it stops here. I think Cilic gets his done in 4, despite the fact that Cobolli's managed 3 straight set wins, including quite a surprise win against Jakub Mensik in the 3rd round for mine. I had Mensik winning that one comfortably as well, so I could be wrong here again. These guys have played twice previously. Again, at Roland Garros, Cilic bombed out in straight sets on the clay there, and they've played twice, both on clay. Grass court certainly suits Marin Cilic a lot better, and he's in the best form we've seen him in recent years. So I'm going to go with the fairy tale run to continue for Marin Cilic. this is going to be, as I say, it'll be an interesting one. These guys will play on court number 2 to get things underway, and certainly an intriguing matchup. The winner of this will play the winner of Djokovic and De Minaur. That might be where Cilic's run might come to an end, but to see him get through to another quarterfinal, we could see the two veterans go toe-to-toe, Cilic versus Djokovic. Wouldn't that be a story and a winding back of the clock? Moving on to the final round of 16 match, I should say, for day 8, and it's Jannik Sinner, the number 1 seed, up against Grigor Dimitrov. Now, Grigor Dimitrov, we talked about this with Christian from the first serve the other day. He was so hyped, so vaunted back in sort of 2017. He's been as far as the semi-finals here at Wimbledon before in 2014. He's made semis at Australian Open and the US Open. At his best, can he match it with Jannik Sinner? He would go close. Unfortunately for Grigor Dimitrov, at 34, he's sort of come over the peak. He's getting a bit of a resurgence here, but I just don't think that we're going to see, despite the form that he's led in with, him get through and take down Jannik Sinner here. It'll be the closeout on centre court tonight, probably the early hours of the morning, realistically. And yes, Dimitrov's been strong. He's had 2 straight sets win, dropped 1 set against Corentin Moutet in the second round. But Sinner's been even stronger. He has been absolutely electric. He has dropped, I think, in the realm of 5 games in his last 2 matches, 7 in that first round, including a closeout love set against Luca Nardi. And I just think Sinner's going to continue to get it done. Dimitrov might be able to get into the arm wrestle and maybe take the first or second set if he can get off to a good start. But I think Sinner will be clinical here. He's going to be marching on. He's not going to be wasting too much energy here, and he'll be looking to set up that quarterfinal matchup and continue to march towards what will potentially be a semi-final with Novak Djokovic, and then a final up against Carlos Alcaraz, and that's going to be the piece that we are looking to see. And yeah, it's certainly been an impressive run so far after beating some of those names, Nardi, Vukic, and Moutet, but they're ones that he should be able to dominate as he goes through. So he has, I think Sinner broke the record actually leading in here to the least games dropped to reach the 4th round of Wimbledon, breaking Roger Federer's record from 2004. Federer dropped 19. Sinner has dropped just 17, as I said. So absolutely phenomenal. Sinner will march on here. I'm going to say straight sets. I'd love to see Dimitrov take one off him and make it a little bit interesting, add a bit of curveball to it, but I just don't know that's going to be the case. Moving on to the women's and the second half of their round of 16, and let's start with Lyudmila Samsonova, the Russian. She knocked out Dasha Kazatkina, last Aussie standing. She also knocked out young Aussie star Maya Joint in the first round. And again, very few games dropped to get to here. She has dropped only 13 games to get to the 4th round. So she has been in really strong form, Samsonova, which realistically there wasn't really any signs of this. She bombed out in the semi-finals at Berlin. She went to Bad Homburg, didn't take the court there. It's just been one of these ones where, again, she's been up and down and hasn't really shown too much that would make you expect that she's going to have made this run, but she certainly has. And then, she comes up against Jessica Buzos Monero, the Spaniard, has never been inside the top 50 prior to this tournament, and, is on the rise now. A really strong run. Again, another one that there probably wasn't too many pointers to her, I guess, surging this far into the 4th round. It's one of those pieces that, it's a little surprising. I mean, she's just knocking on the door of the top 50. If she could win this match, she'll surge up the rankings and get probably inside the top 40. But it's been a puzzling one. We haven't seen this sort of telegraphed to us in terms of what the expectation would be. So both of these a little surprising in terms of runs, but there's been plenty of surprise with the number of seeds that have dropped down. Samsonova is seeded here. Buzos Monero will get to a career high. They haven't played before. Hard to really get a form line in terms of the two of them. I mean, when you're looking at the grass court records of them, Samsonova's had some really good seasons on grass. Buzos Monero has hardly played much on grass. She got a 3-1 record this year. I think in terms of the tour, she's played something in the realm of about 12 or 13 matches on grass in total. So I think the experience of Lyudmila Samsonova is going to be too much. I think we'll see her advancing through into what will be another quarterfinal, or a first quarterfinal, I should say, for her. She's made it the 4th round at 3 of the slams, including the 4th round at the French Opens this year, and that's probably, I guess, showing that she is starting to push towards that top 16 into those key seedings as we head into the back end of the season. She's been up to number 12 before a couple of years ago, but I think this could be a bit of a resurgence for her. The hard courts will suit her game at the US Open. She made the fourth round there last year, so let's see her potentially march on here into the quarterfinals for the first time in her Grand Slam career. I think Samsonova, I think she'll actually get this done in straight sets, to be honest. I think it should just be too strong for Business Monero. Next up, speaking of Russians, Ekaterina Alexandrova comes up against Belinda Bencic. Now, these two both have been further up in the rankings. Alexandrova has been as high as 15. Bencic at one point was number 4 in the world. It's easy to forget that. She's slipped outside of the seeds now. But yeah, again, going back to, I'm going to say early 2020, she's certainly been a star performer. That's a key, and we know she won gold at the 2020 Olympics to that point. So certainly not someone that you would underestimate. She's been to the semi-finals at the US Open fourth round here. This will be her fourth appearance. But again, she just hasn't quite been as consistent in recent times. That's seen, as I said, her drop down outside of the seedings, and she spent a long time on court this tournament in terms of her matches. She had 2 3-setters, a really strong start to the tournament with a 3-love against Alicia Parks, but then she's played against Elsa Jacquemot, the French woman, dropping the first set and then coming from behind. Took on Elisabetta Cocciaretto, the Italian, in the third round, and again had to go to a match tiebreak there and grind it out. I just think that the power of Alexandrova here, she's gone through everything in straight sets. 5-2 in the first set against Aussie Petrohon. She came up against Susan Lamens in the second round and was 4-love, and then 3-6 against Sonmez, the Turk, Zeynep Sonmez, in the third round. So certainly no big names, but she's been very clinical. So I think this one might go the distance. I think it might go to 3 sets on court one. And as I said, I'm leading to Alexandrova to push through into the quarterfinals and see what the next steps are. They'll open the action, as I said, on court one, and the winner of this one will head through to take on the winner of the final match we'll get into. But before we get to that one, let's see one of the ones where 2 of the seeds have gone through. These are rarities, some of these matches, but it is these last 2 where 2 of them have got through. Iga Swiatek up against Clara Thorsen of Denmark. Swiatek, we know grass hasn't been her best surface, but she is absolutely coming into her own. She's starting to control that top spin. She had a good, strong win over Polina Kudermetova in the first round. A little bit of a hiccup against Katie McNally, the plucky American, in the second round. But again, I'm not too concerned. It seemed like that's where she was trying to just find her rhythm and work through, I guess, the top spin challenge that Christian and I have been talking about, where a lot of these players that use a lot of top spin have been having a little bit of difficulty just controlling it and making sure they're playing their ground strokes well. But yeah, it's an interesting one. These 2 actually won a junior Grand Slam together, playing doubles back in 2018 at the French Open. So yeah, she also reached I think she might have knocked Swiatek out in that in one of those junior tournaments as well. Maybe that year's French Open singles where she lost to Coco Gauff. So she's certainly not one to underestimate, McNally. So she's a plucky one that Swiatek had some trouble with. We know that, but she got through in 3 sets. She then absolutely dominated Danielle Collins in the last round. Whereas for Thorsen, she's had to work a little bit harder. A 3-setter against Heather Watson in the first round, but then some of the names she's knocked off the court: Anna Kalinskaya, 3-6, and then again 6-3 against Elena Rybakina. Not underestimating Towson by any means. She's a power hitter. I just don't think she has the gears to go with Swiatek here on court one. It's going to be an interesting one, but I think Swiatek will just be too strong for her, getting it done to close out court one in straight sets and head through to a quarterfinal. So that's my shape up there. Swiatek has got a 2-0 record against her. We know she's a former world number 1 for quite a period of time. Last but not least, this one's an interesting one. We've got the 2 seeds who are actually scheduled to meet in the round of 16, meeting in the round of 16, which I think this might be the only quadrant of the draw in the women's where that's happened. I know in the men's, obviously, we had Novak Djokovic and Alex de Minaur. It is Mira Andreeva against Emma Navarro. Andreeva has been pretty strong, knocking out Sharif, Bronzetti, and then Heather Baptiste in straight sets. Haley Baptiste, in straight sets in all of her first 3 matches. Again, just being clinical. She's another one, a lot of top speed, just learning to control that. It's going to be a very different assignment against Emma Navarro. Navarro knocking out the defending champion Barbora Krejcikova after coming back from 1 set down. She knocked out Petra Kvitova. She knocked out Veronika Kudermetova. Lots of power players. She's strong off both wings. We know that she's been up as high as number 8 in the world, and she will climb again here. I tipped Mira Andreeva to make a run before the tournament, but this one's got me a little bit nervous. I thought Andreeva and Anisimova were the two to make the runs past their seedings. Andreeva needs to win this one to do that, and I think this is going to be a really challenging one. It's a real toss of the coin for me. They've only played once before, Andreeva having the better of that record, and then it's 1-0. I mean, these two, very little separates them. Both really strong grass court years, both strong years in general. Andreeva 35 and 10. Emma Navarro sitting at 24 and 16. I think the thing that might just lean into it is that real grind that Navarro had to have. So I think that Andreeva might be a little bit fresher in this one, having played a little bit less tennis, probably about an hour less than the last match. Similar overall, both over 4 hours, but again, I just think if this goes deep, Andreeva, if she can handle the occasion, now they'll be playing in the second match on centre court. She can handle the occasion, then I think she'll get it done. Remembering that she's only 18, Navarro 24, so certainly a key matchup. Looking forward to seeing how this one plays out. But I'm going to go Andreeva to get this done in 3. It might even come down to a match tiebreak, and hopefully the young Russian's clutch performance will see her through into the final 8. But that's our wrap of day 8 predictions. We're looking forward to coming back to you with day 9. Stay tuned to our daily doses. We'll be wrapping up the second test from the Australia-West Indies series in Grenada as well later on today. But until we catch you next time, enjoy your sporting landscape, and we look forward to bringing you another daily dose soon.